the first thing we want to make sure of is that we have a currency script. So I have made a tutorial on how to make one of those, and I'm just going to quickly copy in this script. This script just contains the data store and whatever we need, but what is more important is that we add another script to service script service, which we are going to call our bounty handler. In this bounty handler, we are going to say game.players.player add connect function, and we'll plr.character added connect function. We're going to get the char, and then we're going to be able to get the humanoid with local hum equals to char find first child humanoid. Something we also have to do is back in our currency script. We want to also add something called bounty, so we can just copy over the money definition, and we're just going to change this to bounty and all the associated values. We can also make that the player starts with no bounty. We probably also want that this saves, so all we can do is say we can copy over the key and just change it to, let's say, the B key, and then instead of that being concatenated with the user ID, it's bounty. Additionally, we'll have to duplicate our saved data variable, and we can just save it to save B data. Then we only have to say in the p tool duplicate the saved data and change that to saved B data to B key, and we can, in the checking if the saved data is not nil to override it, we can copy that over and just say bounty instead of money and change that to saved B data. And now to save it, all we have to do is over here we have to copy over the extra defined key and duplicate the ds::set async, just change that to B key, and instead of player.leaderstats that value is player.bounty.leaderstats player.leaderstats.bounty.value. And that should also add our bounty variable. Now back in the bounty handler, if we have our humanoid, we can say ham.died connect function, because we want to get whoever killed the character. We can get this because we can find local tag equals to find first child creator, spelled like this, and then we can just say if tag then local killer equals to tag.value, and then just if killer, then we can start doing stuff with our bounty, because we want the player under certain conditions to receive different amounts of bounty, and under other conditions allow people to claim the bounty, because we want that if an innocent player is killed, we want to be able to say that the player who killed him gets bounty, let's say 50. So we'll have to figure out two variables, the killer's bounty and the innocent's bounty. So look, we can say we can just say local killer bounty. We can find that because we can just check is killer.leaderstats.bounty.value. Of course, this directory will only be correct if we have in our currency script made sure that our bounty value is being added in a folder called leader stats and is spelled correct, the same as here. And now we can get local victim bounty equals to, and that is just player.leaderstats.bounty.value. And now we can check if an innocent player is killed. So that means if victim bounty equals to 0, that means killer gets 50 bounty. So how do we do that? We just say killer, we can just say killer.leader stats dot bounty dot value plus equals to 50. Now we want to have that if innocent player kills non-innocent, we want that the innocent player gets money in terms of we want the killer to get as much money as the person had bounty, and we want to reset the person's bounty. So we can say if killer bounty is 0 and victim bounty is bigger than 0, then we can just say that the player, which is in this case the killer, dot leader stats dot cash dot value plus equals to victim bounty, and now we can copy over the definition of killer bounty and just make that 0. So this handles so that somebody can claim the bounty and somebody can get bounty. But how about we made so that if non-innocent player kills non-innocent player. Because I would personally say that in this scenario, we want that the killer gets bounty, but not as much as if it would have been an innocent victim. So we can say if killer bounty is bigger than 0 and victim bounty is bigger than 0, we're just going to say killer.leaders. We can copy over this but replace the 50 with a 25, and with this syntax you can make up any other condition you wish. I'll leave that up to you. Anyways, now let's actually design some wanted posters so that players know who made sense to hunt down. So what we're going to get is a part, and I'm going to say that the part's dimensions are about like this, and in here we need to have a surface GUI. In here we need a text label and an image label. The text label is going to be the value display, and it is going to be positioned on the y-axis at 1. The size is going to be 1 on the x-axis, no offset, 0.5 on the y-axis, so a quarter of the space, and no offset. And now we can just set the position to 0 on the x-axis, no offset, 1 on the y-axis, no offset. Now we want to say it's bold. I would also say the text is rich and scaled. Now we can care about the image display. Currently I'd say it's in a good position, so what we can do is say that the size is 1 on the x-axis, 0 offset, it is 0.75, so 3/4 of the y-axis, comma 0, which also adds no offset, so that they share an equal amount of space. Now we can call this a wanted poster, and we can in wordspace insert a folder called wanted posters. We can insert this wanted poster object into this folder, and to make sure that we have multiple, to make sure that we can, and now we can just duplicate these and position them wherever we want. You can of course also make their sizes a bit different. You could even, let's say if I had a house in my game, say this random house, and we could have this wanted poster hanging on the wall to notify people to hunt down this person. So what we now actually have to do so that the wanted posters actually function correctly is in our bounty handler, all the way at the end, introduce a while wait 10 do. So every 10 seconds the wanted posters are going to be updated. So we're going to loop through the poster. So for I, comma, poster in pairs, workspace dot wanted posters do. Oh yeah, we have to add a colon get children. That creates a table out of it. And now we can first of all get the players. So local players equals to game.players colon get players. Local amount of players equals to hashtag players, because we want to get a random player to display on these wanted posters. Now we can check if players. We can say okay. Now what we can do is we can say local ran player num equals to math.random1 comma amount of players. We can say local player equals to players and then in square brackets ran player num, and this will just in the end return us a random player. Now we can say if player dot leader stats dot bounty dot value is bigger than 0, then we can first, we want to display them on the wanted poster. So we can first of all get a portrait of them to display on the wanted poster. So local portrait equals to game.players colon get user thumbnail async player dot user ID comma enum dot thumbnail type dot headshot comma enum dot thumbnail size dot size 320 x 320. And now actually something I want to do is also make this poster display the name of the player it's hunting down. So all we have to do is just in the surface GUI, let's say duplicate the value display and make it be, let's say, at the top. So I'm going to make the x-axis a 0 and the position also on the y-axis is 0, so that's here. And say I made the, we're also going to name this the name display. I'm going to say I made the image label a bit different. The enter point is going to be now 0.5, so it's centered, and then the position is 0 on the x-axis centered, so 0.5, no offset, 0.5 on the y-axis, and no offset. So that's here. And now we want to make sure that the size is on the y-axis 0.5, because we introduced another quarter size, so this has only space for half of it. And now because this image would be squished, and we do not wish for that, I'd say we make the x-axis smaller for, yeah, let's say that. And if we just quickly apply that to all of our wanted posters, yep, it looks like that's all applied to all of them. Now that we have a portrait, we can actually start making some changes to the wanted poster to update it. So poster dot surface GUI, it's annoying that it won't recommend this to us, dot, and as you can see we named it, okay, in my case, image label dot image equals to portrait, the variable up here, that's the headshot of the player's avatar, so that it will display how the player looks. Poster dot surface GUI dot name display dot text equals to layer dot name. Poster dot surface GUI dot value display dot text equals to, in quotation marks, let's say $sign. You can change this to whatever you want your currency symbol to be after the quotation marks, dot player dot leader stats dot bounty dot value. Now of course if you wished, you should have on the display somewhere added labels like dead or alive or whatever, but at the end we can now, this will work. So if we play, oh, I appear to have a slight problem. I need to publish my game for this because of the data stores. Now that I'm back, as we can see, first of all, in game settings, I always forget this, but today not. In security, we can enable Sugestions to API services. Now if we play, Okay, we have two values on our leaderboard, cash and bounty. Now currently we cannot see how bounty goes up, but if I, under the server, just manually modify my bounty to, let's say, 50, then, oh yeah, it updates all of these. Perfect. Now to actually show you that also we can test if this works to kill with killing other players, but there's unfortunately a problem with that. Wait a second. Here it says something. Okay, let's just quickly copy this over. Let's see if this actually updates. So now if I, let's say, change my bounty around to be 75, after 10 seconds this should have changed it. So let's hope that that happened. Yes, it updates. Perfect.